Hi, so I'm gonna be explaining my code challenge number one, Display Hangman code. So, you can see I have quite a bit of defined statements. 7 to be specific. I have 7 defined statements, uh, or 7 functions, I guess, that I'm defining. So, first, let's see how this code works. So, it's gonna ask how many mistakes there are. If I put 0, it doesn't print anything. If I put one mistake, uh, and it prints, well, I don't know the exact word that you use for this, but the thing where the hangman gets hanged, I guess. Um, and then if I put that there's two mistakes, oh, now it draws the head of the hangman. Three mistakes. Oh, sorry, three mistakes. Then starts to draw the body, as you can see. Four mistakes. He draws the left arm. Five mistakes. He draws the right arm. Six mistakes. Uh, Six mistakes. He draws the left leg now. And then seven mistakes. Seven mistakes. He draws the right leg. So that's what all the defined statement or defined functions are for. So let me explain these functions now. So I started with define mistake one. I kind of just gave them obvious names so that anyone who's reading it would make more sense to them. So if there's one mistake, then it'll print this first hangman board where you can see I have the top layer and then backslash n it's to add the enter, and then the second layer backslash n to add the enter again. Third layer, fourth layer, fifth layer, and after each layer I add the backslash n so that it enters. Because if I don't have that backslash n, then it won't make an enter. Um, I do the same thing for mistake 2, except now I added the head inside the text, the print statement. And mistake 3, I also defined it, and inside the print function, now I started to add the body. I defined mistake 4. Um, I printed the same thing, except now it has a left arm. Mistake 5, when I defined it, it's the same thing, but now I have a right arm. Mistake 6, it's the same thing from before, but now it has a left leg. And then mistake 7 is the same thing from before, but now has a right leg. So they're all very, very similar. It's just each time I'm adding different a different body part for the amount of mistakes that you get. So I don't have anything in the arguments. I don't have any arguments to put inside the parentheses of each function that I'm defining. So that's why I don't have any. Because I couldn't think of any arguments to put there. Now, after I define all these functions, I I come up with this variable called num of mistakes, which is just short for number of mistakes, and it's equal to its data type and value that I gave it. I gave it the value of integer. It's an integer, and that's also its data type, in fact. So inside this integer, what I'm turning into an integer function, or inside this integer function, what I'm turning into an integer is this input function that says how many mistakes are there. So if you say how many, usually that means like a number. So you should put in a number, uh, and then whatever number you put in, it'll turn that number into an integer, and that integer value will be assigned to the number of mistakes variable. Sorry, I'm saying a lot. Now in line 66, I get to the if statements. Um, since I'm done assigning the value to a number of mistakes, I start with the if statement, and I say if num of mistakes, if the number of mistakes is equal to 0, that's what the double equal sign is for. It's asking if it's equal. So if number of mistakes is equal to 0, if there's no mistakes, print nothing. Um, I have it print nothing because you don't have any mistakes, so it doesn't need to print anything. It's also just the same as making an enter. Um, line 68, I have else if it's not equal to 0, then ask if num of mistakes is equal to 1. If it's equal to 1, then complete the ask for the function mistake1 and do whatever it says inside that function. So inside the mistake1 function, it's asking to print the hangman board without any body parts. Sorry for this. The Oh wow. Okay. Sorry, I accidentally closed the tab on my screen. So if there's one mistake, if the number of mistakes is 1, complete the function mistake1. And as you can see, it does do that. It makes it so that that's what it looks like when there's one mistake, and that is what the mistake1 is. So now if the number of mistakes isn't 0 or 1, then ask if the number of mistakes is equal to 2. If it's equal to 2, then complete the function titled or called mistake2. That's its name. Don't wear it out. So if the number of mistakes is equal to 2, complete the function mistake2, where now it draws the hangman board, but with a head this time. And then if the number of mistakes isn't equal to any of those, but it's equal to 3, complete mistake3 function. And then if the number of mistakes is equal to 4, complete mistake4. If it's not equal to any of those and it's equal to 5 instead, complete the function called mistake5. If the number of mistakes isn't equal to any of those, but it's equal to 6, then complete mistake6 function. And lastly, if it's not equal to any of those, then ask if the number of mistakes is 7. If it's equal to 7. And if it is, then complete mistake 7. I showed you all the different states in the beginning of depending on what number you put in from 0 to 7. And they all appeared to work, so yeah, that is my code for my hangman code challenge number 1, display hangman. Thank you for your time.